Hi, this is Dan Beran, Tech Service Director for Nufarm, and today we're going to be talking about Weedar XHL, a new herbicide from Nufarm. Weedar XHL is a unique 6-pound per gallon 2,4-D amine that utilizes Nufarm's Dual Salt Technology. Now, traditionally, 2,4-D amines have been limited to much lower loading, typically 3.8 pounds of active ingredient per gallon. But with the XHL Dual Salt Technology, we're able to formulate a very stable, high-performing 6-pound per gallon loading rate. Now, there's some other features in addition to the higher loading that Weedar XHL brings to the table. First of all, it has low odor relative to traditional amines, and that's certainly something that many handlers and applicators are looking for. In addition, Weedar XHL is less volatile than esters, and third-party university data would also indicate that the volatility is comparable to the choline formulations that are found in Enlist and Freelix and Embed as well. There's some other features that really come into play when looking at the Weedar XHL formulation. It has excellent tank mix compatibility, particularly with potassium salts of glyphosate, which in general 2,4-D amine will often have issues when mixing with certain forms of glyphosate. In addition to this, we see efficacy on par as you'd expect with other 2,4-D products, and it also has pre-plant intervals that are comparable to what you'd have with an ester formulation. So Weedar XHL brings many unique benefits to the table with this unique formulation. Bringing a higher load amine formulation of 2,4-D has always been a bit of a formulation challenge, but Nufarm chemists with the dual salt patented technology have overcome these, and really that focuses on cold stability, hard water compatibility, and compatibility in particular with potassium salts of glyphosate. If you look at the center picture there, we've got two different flasks. The one on the left has Weedar XHL tank mixed with a potassium salt of glyphosate in a relatively concentrated mixing rate. It's only at 5 gallons per acre, and then it also brings in relatively hard water, 1,000 ppm water hardness. So when you have hard water, an amine formulation, and a potassium salt of glyphosate, what you'll often see is mixing incompatibility, which is what you'd have on that right beaker there, which is what you see. However, the patented dual salt technology of Weedar XHL overcomes many of the mixing challenges that you get with an amine form of 2,4-D. Another challenge of amines in general when it comes to higher load formulations or just 2,4-D amine in general is cold weather stability, and the dual salt formulation handles that very well. You can see Weedar XHL in storage at 9 months at 14 degrees Fahrenheit, obviously below freezing, as stays in a form that's very pourable and no settling or crystallization. In contrast, a standard 2,4-D amine, as shown in the right, with just 3 months at 14 degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to get ice crystals form. And so as this formulation was built, the dual salt technology overcame some of the key challenges when it comes to cold weather stability. So again, with the dual salt technology of Weedar XHL, we've got a 6-pound gallon versus a 3.8 gallon. That gives you a 37% increase in acres treated per gallon, or a rate reduction of 37%. For those of you that are familiar to using a 2 pint per acre rate of Weedar 64, you would be using now 1.34 pints of Weedar XHL. Obviously, when you bring a new formulation to the market, there's a lot of efficacy testing that goes on, and as expected, the Weedar XHL has performed very well relative to Weedar 64, Weedone LV4, and even Enlist 1. So the point here is that the XHL formulation is going to provide excellent activity, as you would expect out of some of the key 2,4-D formulations that you've used in the past. So just to review, why Weedar XHL? Again, it has that extended window of protection. It has the advantages of the esters as well as the amines combined into one dual salt solution. It has that pre-plant window for corn and beans that's comparable to esters and is unique relative to other amine formulations. The concentrated high load really brings a lot of benefits, being able to apply 37% lower use rates and have more acres treated per gallon. And then finally, the tank mix compatibility and general stability of this formulation is really superior to other amines that are on the market. It's going to be much more stable in cold weather. It's going to mix better with the potassium salts of glyphosate and handle hard water much better than traditional amines. And again, it's also going to have all of these features along with lower odor, which is a real benefit for handlers and folks who may have adjacent properties where 2,4-D applications are going out. If you'd like to learn more about Weedar XHL or other products from Nufarm, visit nufarm.com/US crop. Thank you.